All right, this time in our two-part series now on how to get this John Deere Deere 110 tuned up. The last episode we did the mower deck. That started running a little long, so I broke it into two parts, and today we'll work on the engine and such. First thing we're going to worry about here is this cap right here. That is where your oil is at. We got to push that in. We got to twist it. That should come off and oil should flow. I ran this mower for a minute or two earlier. Let's see. There we go. Now we let this drain. I'm gonna let this probably sit out here, till it stops draining, maybe 30 minutes. I don't know how long it's gonna take, but it's quarantine. I got all the time in the world. All right, you can see it's about done now. It's got a few drips left. I don't know if you can see that oil very well. It's not the best. What we do now is we find our little plastic cap, push that in there, and we turn it. And now let's go move to the oil filter. Right now that we got the oil changed, I moved the oil pan underneath this oil filter right here. We're going to take that off. There'll be oil inside, it'll come out. Don't drop the wrench. Nice and easy. You can see here the oil coming down. It's actually coming in off the frame. We'll clean that up afterwards. And there she's off. Oil's dirty, man. So we'll let this drain. It's about done now, but we'll just let it sit. All right, it's time for a new oil filter. Went and bought this right here from your local Home Depot. Anyways, you know what? Let's get some oil on this thing. We gotta prime this. Got some oil also. What we're going to do first is take a little bit of this oil, prime this guy. Get some on the seal. Now it's ready to go in. When we do put this in, we're just going to hand tighten this. We use the oil wrench to get it off because that thing will get stuck. After some time. But when you put it on, hand tighten this guy. Oh, my hands are greasy. Let's get something so I can really tighten this. Next up, we're putting in the oil. This thing is completely empty. I think it takes 1.5 quarts. Where's that one we just opened? done. We'll measure this one out a little bit more. I think that's about good. All right, let's check this oil. Make sure our level's good. It's clean. Looks perfect. All right, oil filter, oil is done. I think we're gonna get this mower deck. No, you know what we're gonna do next? Let's lube up the grease fittings on these tires here. All right, so we got 4 grease fittings still remaining on this the tractor itself. We did 2 on a previous video on the mower attachment. There's 2 on the front side right here. The front left tire, and they are right here and right there. The other 2 are on the other side, one right here, and we have one actually behind here, that right here behind here, that you can't see. All right, I'm gonna try to do this while holding on to the camera. Do this one-handed. Watch this. You're gonna see this go up. So you give it one pump now. Maybe a half a pump, maybe a little more. Yeah, I think it's kind of coming up. I'm scared to give it more, so it's just a little over 1, maybe 1.5. All right, let's give it a pump. You know what, I gave that one 2 pumps. I didn't actually see anything get pushed out, but I don't want to mess it up. So you can see I got the hood off this guy. It's just 4 bolts, 2 right here, 2 on the other side, and then the wiring harness is just kind of unplugs. Our goal right now, though, is this guy right here, the carburetor. We want to take this off. We're going to clean it. In order to do that, pretty sure we got to take this off, and then these 2 bolts. All right, so first, these 2 are easy. We're going to take them out the front. Once again, we're getting this guy off. Your next one. It's kind of tight inside of here. Use a wrench. Here we go. This last one is just tucked right behind this hose. Can you see that? So we got one last screw that's holding this cover down right here. Let's take this off and this should come out. Alright, so the cover is mostly off. I still have the fuel line hooked up. It's out of the way though. If we have to take it off further, we will. It looks like what we have to get to is this bolt here. There's another one on the other side, right here. Then these two that are just kind of last on your choke and your throttle. All right, let's get this carburetor off. First, we'll clamp this fuel hose here so it doesn't go squirting all over the place. Let's get this fuel hose off. Move this down a little bit. Hopefully we're not gonna fuel gushing out. Come on. I think we're good. This, we got one on the other side. We've got an air hose here. This back one too. Okay. Get out of there. All right, looks like we got, then screw these right here that connects to that. There we go. The solenoid connection out. There we go. Oh, we don't lose that gasket. It's in all right shape. Should we get this on properly? Let me get the linkage off and then we'll move this carburetor to the workbench. So we have the carburetor broke down now. This is all getting ready to go into the ultrasonic cleaner. I won't worry about this just because of the electrical connection. The gaskets also. I took the gaskets off because I just don't trust them inside. I've had bad experience. Keep those the same. So we got the float, we got the seat and pin, we got the pin for the float. It really doesn't look, you can see it really doesn't look bad inside there. In fact, it looks clean, but hey, we're doing it anyways. Here's our carb. I couldn't really get anything off here. The emulsion tube is just kind of in there. It didn't come out easy. I figure the ultrasonic cleaner is going to get. I figure the ultrasonic cleaner is going to get it all up in there. So it should be good. Everything looks safe here. Yeah. So we're waiting for this thing to get up in temperature. And then when we do, we'll throw this in for about 10-20 minutes. And then we'll put the carburetor back on. Alright, came on, checked out the ultrasonic cleaner. You can see it's up to 47. So let's get this inside. I think it's warm enough. We'll do this. I won't mess with the pin. Okay, so what we didn't put in is the gaskets, the pins, and this connector. Alright, the floats could obviously float, assuming it doesn't have a hole in it, which I'm pretty sure is good because this thing was running all right. So let's actually turn this on. It's been 10 minutes. All right, let's see how this thing did. This was already clean, so this is a little bit hard to tell. This definitely better. So let's dry this out, reassemble, and we'll put it back on the tractor. Get the float. This is a seating pin. You'll find a little, you kind of see it has a little head on it there that rides up so it can dangle. This needs to go inside of there. Make sure that gets in there. Alright, so now we got to put the pin in to make sure it doesn't move around. Looks good. So we got this gasket. This is probably the toughest part, is dealing with these gaskets. You don't want to mess them up. What? Yeah, right. Oof, yeah. So we got to do this. And then you can see on the bottom, that hole needs to match up with that. So let's try and do this without having that gasket squeeze out. That looks pretty good. Next, this on. Get these two screws in. Make this tight, but not too tight. Alright, so what I'm looking for here is, I don't want to see the gasket coming out the side. which I think we're good. I think we're good. Oh, I'm an idiot. I forgot this. All right, we got that O-ring on there. I took it apart off camera quickly. That's why it's nice to have a clean workspace, because if you're like me, that's not abnormal. I think we're good to go. All right, let's get this carburetor on. So I attached a little bit of the linkage here just off camera because it was kind of a weird angle and I couldn't get my head in there with the camera on. We'll forget our gasket. What we're going to do is we're going to put this has a little imprint on it right here. I'm trying to match this up. Yeah. Well, let's get these through here first. Do it like that. So this got to go through that. There's a hole inside of this right there. So we got to take this off, get that through there. This is just hand twisted a few times on there. So we're going to make sure that we have gasket between the screws, which it is. This through here, which it is. I think we're good. Next we need to get this hose back on. This kind of goes up through here. There's also a little hose on this back that needs to go in. Well, that goes in right through here. This bottom hose bottom hose on, up through there, and then on. That's all right. I got these to hold them in place. Okay, let's tighten these two up. We gotta get this fuel line back connected. This can go in. It's on there pretty good. Next, this fuel line. All right, so we're going to release this fuel. Shouldn't be any leaks here. All right, let's just make sure this starts, and we'll let it run for a minute or so. Got the garage door open here. Just want to make sure there's no obvious leaks. Make sure it starts. Okay, so I secured the top, putting the 2 bolts up front, 2 in the back, and 1 little screw right here. Next is just the air filter. We have this off. It's perfect time. Basically, it's just out with the old and with the new. No way to mess this up. You got 1 hole. Get this on here. Get it in there. Looks good. Okay, the new air filter's in. Put this cover back on. But there's one last thing I'm doing on this, and that is the fuel filter. You can see that right here. I don't think that's ever been changed, and it's looking dirty, and a new one is cheap and in my possession. So let's change this. There will be fuel coming out here, going through that. We got to clamp off this bottom, or we're gonna have a mess. In fact, after I clamp this off, we're going to get our pan just in case. I got the 2 little clamps pulled out. Should give us enough room. Now we just got to pull this hose off. Once again, I'll just do this without the camera on it because it's you know what I'm doing. Hopefully I don't mess up the hose, and just try to pull it off. Hopefully it's not stuck on so hard. But I got to get down in there. All right, so this is off. It wasn't too hard. Basically, I just spun that. Once I had the clamps down and up, I just kind of spun that fuel filter around until it kind of loosened, and then wiggled it out. It had fuel in it, splashed in my face, but we survived, guys. We survived. All right, so let's get this fuel filter in. Whoa. The other one went like this. Remember the direction it went off? It's a slightly different one, but it still generally looks the same. Get the bottom in. We're going to get this top in. This is pretty easy. It's new. And now we're going to get these moved back over their homes. See if I can get one of these with the camera in my face. Just clamp it down, move it down, let it go. Same for this bottom one. Got the brake pedal right in the way. Get up and over. Okay, we got the new fuel filter on. I think we're done here. This battery was changed very recently, or at least last year. I was having some ignition issues, and I also changed out the spark plug. Fuel pump's really the only thing that I would even consider changing right now, but we don't got one, so this is done. Let's get the hood back on and test her. Alright guys, this guy's put back together here. Last thing to do is really get on here, start her up. I gotta run it, but I don't know if you can see, but it's rainy today. So I'm just gonna start it inside here. Let's just see.